He's the only person registered in the United Kingdom as a rectal teaching assistant. Welcome to the show, guys.
You thought your day at work was rough.
Okay, now that you turn the camera on, can you understand me when I talk like this? Or is it annoying? Because I was thinking, since I'm a Zendri or Duros, I would be talking like this with my mouth.
I'm cool with that.
I'm cool with that. I can understand you.
Just remember, when you put that stormtrooper helmet on, pretending to be a stormtrooper in the base, you might want to like do a little more human language.
Is that what Duro's human language sounds like? Hello! It's my very big show. Okay.
So everybody have a chance to look at your character sheets?
Yes!
Any quick questions? No? No questions? Got,
Do we all know each other?
yes, as part of the background, you are a crack rebel squad that was sent to this planet to basically start insurrection. This is the home planet of Saul Guerrero, by the way, from Rogue One.
Registered crack.
As our Politico is already starting their diplomatic thing.
I'm gonna diplomate this stuff. It's gonna be great.
So of course, you know, we start with the star field in the classic Star Wars. Did anyone actually watch the?
Yes, I did.
It was cute. I tried to download it, but
Do you want an intro music playing?
go for it.
Yeah.
I was gonna say you have it in your link. I'll show you later. Disney, please don't sue us.
This is a commercial.
Now, are you on the Twitch channel or on the link that I sent earlier?
Oh, do you want to play the crawl itself? I was just gonna have you speak.
A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Star Wars.
Oh, I thought you were just gonna narrate it.
Okay.
Yes.
The whispers of rebellion. War rages across the galaxy. Both the brutal Galactic Empire and the desperate rebel forces reel in the face of terrible losses. Though the rebel forces managed to destroy the superweapon called the Death Star, their victory did not come in time to save the people of Alderaan.
Alderan shot first.
That's right.
Fear and chaos swell across the galactic community now. Another small battle begins to swell in the verdant world of ONDERON. By the way, Saul Guerrero, some world from Clone Wars. The Rebel Alliance has Rogue One.
Yeah, I know who he is.
The Rebel Alliance has sent a crack team of freedom fighters to stir anti-Imperial sentiment on the Japrael system. After weeks on the planet, the heroes of Whisper Squad made one slip-up that resulted in ARKHAN, their BOTHAN commander, being arrested and identified as a rebel cell leader. After hastily forming a plan, the remaining members of Whisper Squad have formed a rescue plan, and after ambushing an Imperial patrol, they are now infiltrating the heavily guarded Imperial base and plan to escape before the Imperial Star Destroyer Strike Fast arrives for the prisoner. Yes, that's the time limit. In 2 hours it shows up, regardless of where you are. And the camera focuses on the beautiful planet that's very lush and jungle-like. And then all of a sudden it focuses on this Imperial stock base, because they all look alike. As you guys were seen landing in your stolen Lambit shuttle and being escorted down to a little hallway, and you take a little turbo lift, which is, by the way, right there, which drops you down into a cell block, which immediately, you know, you guys are talking in your disguise because we have 2 people in Stormtrooper armor that you stole. 1 person is an Imperial officer, and another person in Imperial TIE pilot uniform. Do you want to have your helmet on or off?
I will have it on.
Okay, just belt if you ever want to take it off. And all of a sudden, you're all standing there in the detention cell block with the Imperial officer that escorted you there out cold because you guys are crack commando team. Between your scathing tirade and your stun blasters, you dropped him in no time. As you're sitting there with the key card ready to open the cell.
Good job flying us here.
Hold it.
Okay, so who's gonna open the cell block door?
What are we, by the way? Like, I know we have a Duros and we have a pilot.
I'm a human pilot.
What is your name?
My name is Zal.
Zal, the human pilot.
Yes.
Excellent. I am Jin Rio, the human agitator.
I just think of washing machine.
Bribro agitator.
I'm Kale, the human commando.
Human commando.
I am Vendry, Duros Spy Slicer.
I think the
Slicer.
slicer should open the door,
Yeah.
personally.
And just as a side note for the slicer, you do have a very large communications pack. You have almost like the ones that you see in episode 3.
The 3-man secure combat.
Yep, it's
Which is
basically.
why I'm encumbered.
It's got the, well, ignore the encumbrance. I just equipped it to everything so you can see the stats. But you basically have the big communications backpack on, so all of your team with their mini comms can easily communicate with you. And I believe we do have a jammer as well, I think.
Oh, you know, we have to roll the
Yeah, so let's go ahead and roll our light side, dark side.
2 dark
Yay,
side.
2 dark side.
Yay,
Two
to my
light
side!
So this is one thing that's different than the Genesis system. In Star Wars, you roll for your light side, dark side.
Yay, light
We
side!
have balance to the Force on your guys' side. Yay! So it's just like in Genesis, you can use the Destiny pool, or in this case, the light side, dark side pool. So you guys are basically standing around the Imperial officer, you know, you're here in the detention cell, it's a turbo lift that goes down here, then there's a security door that this officer was taking you guys through because you talked him into this great game of, we're here to interview the prisoner. Yay, real interrogators.
This is correct.
And he was just about to open the cell when you guys decided that this is a perfect time to take his butt out because, you know, well, you don't need him anymore.
Is this computers or skullduggery?
For hacking it, you actually don't need to worry about
I
hacking
was gonna
it.
say, we have his card, right?
You have his data stick
Okay.
that you could just take it out of his little lapel and stick it in the door and open it.
Actually, but reasonably, does this unconscious guy have anything else on him that might be
Yeah.
useful to us?
So you immediately drop down and start policing his pockets.
Loot the body.
Okay.
He's not even dead, baby.
We can't take
I
his
can fix
eyes
that.
or fingers.
You lean down and start, you know, fleecing him. You pull out the 3 data sticks he's got. The one you've recognized that he's used a couple times to open the lift, you know, will give you the equivalent of yellow clearance, basically green, yellow, red clearance. The yellow clearance will let you open this door.
Okay.
He's got special privilege to let you guys into, and you know it's this cell that's got your boss. Basically, ARKHAN, the BOTHAN commando, he is your boss, but he got pinched. Because, you know, he's Bothan, and many Bothans
Died to the.
That's what they do.
That's true. If nobody shows up to play the Bothan gets it quick. So you know that you've got, you know, one of you've got a duffel bag of your boss's equipment that you're ready to open the cell door and throw it in at him. And you know that you've got to get him out of here because the Empire will break him. And he is your guys' boss.
Bothan.
He knows a lot about other cells. So you guys know about your team.
Yeah.
If he goes down, he drops the dime on a lot of teams. Mainly because even as his character goes in the actual starter set, he actually is a pinnacle member of the Resistance cell team. So we don't want him captured.
Okay.
So remember, just like in Rogue One, you get the information and then you shoot the cat. I can't climb! Remember?
No, I like
You
choose
blank
to.
that out.
No, dude, why do you keep questioning my geek card?
No, I'm not.
But no, I choose to look at it more as like, if we can't rescue him, we're gonna, you know, protect the Empire, protect the rebels.
Protect the Empire. I mean, rebels.
I was former Imperial.
Yeah.
Do what you must.
Yeah.
He would
So-
want it that way.
So you're busting
But
out,
we'll be
looting
far
his
kinder about
pockets.
it than
You
they
do
will.
find in his boot he's got a small holdout pistol in case you wanted it. Just a podunk holdout pistol. You've got far better on you. These guys are sporting rifles.
Yeah,
so.
but take it anyways in case he wakes up.
True.
And who
Okay.
knows what ARKHAN needs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Better to have it than and not need it.
And
Than,
then you've got Archon
Yeah.
supplies. So you got his blaster pistol. He's got a heavy blaster
It's
pistol.
like with zombies. You know, if you have the chance to take one down, always take the chance.
And you basically pull the data sticks. You realize there's got to be some personal info on these that you can use somewhere at some point.
yes.
And other than that, not much else on him.
Cool.
Other than you just does like as you're fleecing his body.
I shout at him until he goes to sleep again.
Hour
Sleeping
20 till
tirade.
the shuttle arrives.
Okay. So you guys are there. You just have to.
Hour 50 till the shuttle arrives.
The Duros, they're great astronavigators.
Yeah.
He's estimating it will be an hour and 50 minutes before they show up.
I was assuming 2 hours was real time.
It's real time, but yes. We don't know if it'll be game time.
Alright, if you guys go through, I'll stay here and guard the lift to make sure nobody else comes down.
Okay, so you're immediately taking a position.
Yep.
Now these are classic Imperial detentions. Basically, the little side here is a ramp that goes down. So you could easily perch right down here for partial cover, by the way.
Okay.
So that way you just got your heavy blaster rifle up on the stairs while you're mostly covered.
Cool.
Because you're just wearing stormtrooper armor. We know how effective that is.
I'll stay here for now.
Okay, so you've perched yourself in a safe spot. You've got the data stick.
And,
No, I've got the
You got the data stick. You go up, cell opens up, and immediately your Archon looks up at you. His puppy dog face is all sad and disheveled. You can see he's been roughed up, and you throw a double bag at him eventually.
Is there anyone else we should save while we're here?
I think I'm the only prisoner, but check the cells just in case.
I check the cells just in case.
Yeah, and as he starts, he busts out his kit immediately, starts gearing himself up. He's like taking off the Imperial jumpsuit he's got on. He's like, good riddance. Ugh. As you can see, he's been like worked over pretty well. We have to hurry. I was told that they were bringing in an Imperial interrogation droid.
Hmm.
So you're gonna go check the other cells as he's getting dressed?
Yeah.
Okay. So you check the other 3 cells pretty quickly. Nobody's in them.
Okay.
They all have that horrible, sterile, Imperial perfectness.
Let's move.
Well, as they're doing that, I'm going to take the body of the officer and kind of put it off to the corner.
Why
Shove
not
it
put it in one of the
Finish him off.
Put it in the cell.
Well, it's not going to kill him.
How long would it take
Still, put him in a
how
cell.
long would it take to put him in Archon's clothing?
In the jumpsuit?
Yeah.
You can do that pretty quickly.
Okay.
One
Do
of these
that.
cells is going to be for corpses. That's all I'm saying.
Do that, let's move.
Yes.
It might buy us an extra half an hour while he says, I'm not hip.
Okay. Well, remember he's Bothan, so he looks like a dog.
But the Imperials don't know that.
Can I see the spy book real
Except
quick?
Oh, which
for
one?
The spy book. So,
they're very xenophobic.
Kale, go ahead and give me perception as you're covering the door.
Oh.
So are you gonna tell them to shank the guy and throw him in the cell, or just throw him in the cell?
I was planning to shank. Well, when they went in, I was planning to shank them and then. Did you say perception?
Perception, yeah.
That's not so hard. What's my difficulty?
It's gonna be against 3 purple, because that's a pretty thick door there.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Or you're that, as the case may be.
Actually, I will, but I'll take on this. 1 success, 2 disadvantages.
Okay, so 2. Go ahead and take 2 strain. As you're like really, what it is you're seeing them take this Imperial officer and put him in a cell, and you're wanting to shake him. The whole idea is that there's no reason to leave an Imperial, never leave an Imperial alive and you can finish him off.
The only good one is a dead one.
Like Kelly said for the zombies. So immediately you do hear the turbo lift hum down there, and then there's some muted voices that you're hearing on the other side of that blast door. That they must be just getting off the lift.
Okay. I will call back on the comms. Guys, we got company.
If anyone needs it. Okay.
And I will level my heavy blaster rifle at the door.
Okay.
And once it opens, start firing.
Okay, so whereabouts are you guys spread out there? Something's coming from this direction.
Which cell was he in?
He was in this very first one.
Okay, so, and that's where we'll put the other guy?
Okay?
Yes.
He's hiding over here in the alcove. Like the...
Okay, so you guys are all taking cover?
No. I'm ready. Wait, while we're doing that, can we take a free action and just shoot the unconscious guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're gonna discharge your weapon?
Shoot him to kill him or shoot him to...
Oh, at this point, shoot him to kill him.
Ooh.
I've done that before, but... So
Bloodthirsty
you guys want to put him in
rounds.
the outfit, so...
Well, now we've got company.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to shoot our way out anyway.
Okay,
You
so
know what?
so basically the Duros, you're dragging him in there, and you're like, half second thought, you just,
After we've been told we've got company.
yep. So you don't want to fight a battle on two fronts. So immediately you discharge your blaster rifle, and the round echoes in here, because of course you're underground in this little area. So clearly you hear the blaster rifle go off. As all of a sudden you're hearing some muffled, like they heard the blaster rifle too.
Mm-hmm.
As
Does nobody have a vibroblade?
I do.
So
That's
what
why-
are
that's
these
what I was
you
gonna
two
do
doing?
earlier.
Well, I am taking up position and aiming a gun towards the doors.
okay.
And apparently I have a heavy blaster pistol, so I'll use that.
Okay. What about our diplomat?
I'm just gonna wait. I'm gonna wait until I can see who's coming down.
I think diplomacy.
Well,
may be
maybe we
cash.
should try and say, hey, they kidnapped him. Oh,
That's an
killed one of
option.
the guys.
Okay. So you guys basically are having this tense moment where you're just standing still, and you can almost sense on the other side of this blast where they're having the exact tense moment of what the hell, what just happened, and then
Grenade as they come in, or talk to them?
We can try talking to him. If talking doesn't work, we can throw a grenade. That's called diplomacy.
so everybody go ahead and give me your cool. Oh, I'm pretty cool.
1 and 2.
I got 2 successes and an advantage.
Nice.
Two successes, right? The things are successes.
Yep.
Six successes and an advantage.
You know who the cool one in the group is.
I'm so cool.
Ooh, 3.
So immediately, everything is getting really quiet as you're just you're smelling the waft of somebody that just got shot with a blast rifle. Your boss ARKHAN's got his little armored shirt all the way on. He's got his little heavy blaster pistol. Powers it up. He's like, "So, what's the plan? How are we getting out of here?"
That way.
Through that door.
Good plan.
Yes.
Once they open it, open fire.
Okay, and he looks at the Duros, because you're a spy, and you're that guy. And he comes up really close to you, like, personal space violatingly close. And he's like, I want to make sure that in case anything happens to me. And he kind of like reaches into his mouth, and you're like, what the hell's going on? And then you hear this cracking sound. As he hands you, and immediately, because you're a computer guy and you recognize that it's a fake tooth with a little data spike, that I don't want the Empire to get that.
Tuck it in.
Okay, so if anything happens to me, make sure you get that to Rebel High Command. Destroy it in case the Empire tries to get it.
Will do, sir.
I'm going to keep aiming at the door.
Okay, and you're currently hearing orders, blah, 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 blah. Droid, blah, blah, blah. Bothan, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden, after about a good long 10-second pause where you guys just have this door covered, by the way, everybody get a blue dice for Aiden. The door opens up. And there's 3 Imperial Army guys. Basically, they've got the half vest. They look almost like ISB agents. And they've got their little carbines, And there's a Imperial Army officer. And he's barking orders. And then there's the very intimidating probe droid floating next to the Imperial officer. It doesn't take you more than a half second to realize the droid's here to give the
Interrogate the
your boss
Bothan.
some, education in Imperial tactics. So, first the Imperial officer's going to bark at his guys to, what are you doing here?
Help! Someone came in and broke out the prisoner.
What rank was the guy that we killed?
And he's a lieutenant.
Okay, you told me to kill the lieutenant.
They killed the lieutenant and they ran.
Okay, go ahead and give me a deception roll. It's going to be against
Deception.
3 purple.
That's all right. I've got 2. No, I've got 2 yellow. That's fine. 3 purple, 2 yellow. That's okay.
Well, in that case, go ahead and upgrade one of those purple to red. Give you guys more light side points.
Actually, 4 threats, but 3 successes.
Immediately, you throw that out there, and he's just like, he gives you this double take. Like, he immediately takes in your because you're wearing an Imperial officer's uniform, takes in your rank, and it's like, oh, Corporal, I apologize. Immediately, you're sensing the Imperial doctrine is involved, that he's following a superior's orders immediately.
Am I wearing a uniform that a lieutenant would wear?
You would wear a higher ranking officer's uniform than that.
Oh, I'm higher. Okay.
You're higher ranking. That's why this guy is like, whoa, sir, I'm sorry. Now how many threat was that?
4.
4 threat? So go ahead and take a point of stress.
Yay.
And immediately, while you two are having this tete-a-tete going on, the probe droid's going to take a free maneuver. And the interrogation droid is... And it's basically right at you guys, and it's turning to look in the room that the cell that the Bothan was in. And sees the Bothan. It acknowledges there is the Bothan, following commands.
Yes.
I'm going to interrogate the Bothan in a second.
The Bothan is the ARKHAN or the Bothan?
ARKHAN.
Is
The guy that we're trying to
ARKHAN,
rescue.
your boss.
okay, that guy in cell.
No, he's the Bothan in the cell still, who's getting ready to say, let's go.
Yes.
As the interrogating droid's looking right at him because he's the only Bothan in the room.
I think we need to start searching for the people that shot the lieutenant, using all available resources.
How
So-
difficult is it to hack one of these things?
Not terribly difficult, but you are in a room full of people that are also armed, looking at the droid, that wouldn't expect a stormtrooper to touch the droid. But
Can't do it wirelessly?
no, it has to
There
be.
is no wireless.
Actually,
He'd whip out his data pad real
this,
quick.
yeah, this is becoming too nice. I outrank these guys. I'm going to tell them that they need to essentially stop paying attention to the droid and start looking for the rebels that have come in here to give this guy some time to reprogram the droid.
And immediately the 3 army guys are looking. Rebels were here? Wait.
They went into the shaft as you came down. They must be in the shaft itself.
And immediately, because it's their turn, they will run, and they're gonna with their carbine start lifting the panels in the turbo lift. And they're like, So it's one of your guys' turn. So you're gonna immediately walk in there as a stormtrooper, whip out your data pad and try to jack it in there. Okay. So the probe droid is, it's kind of floating there. So you can get your data pad plugged into it real quick.
Okay.
Go ahead and give me a computer's roll against 4 purple.
Go ahead and
Yeah.
upgrade one of those,
This is the roll. Okay, so upgraded. This is
Yeah.
the roll against 4 purple.
Here, let's tip this out for you. I just threw them in there so I knew we had a decent batch. And it's 4 purple, and she's turning one of your green dice into a yellow. She's
Right,
basically
I did.
trusting your hacking skills, and wow, you are a good hacker.
Okay.
So you're checking your talents because you are a slicer.
Okay, and this takes 25% less time.
Yeah,
But I don't know that.
because you've got you're uber good at the hacking. Okay? The group has
Ooh.
faith in you. Ooh.
So
that's
that
really
is-
good.
So this dice, you can have that one taken out. Then you have 2 failure over here, and 2 success.
So you have 1 advantage.
So you have 1 advantage. But immediately you start to hack the droid, and the droid immediately is just like, authorization not recognized, is what your data pad's telling you the droid says. That, and it's currently engaged in something else. But you do have 1 advantage. What would you like to do? You can either pass it on to the next one of your team,
or
give the
keep it
droid
to
a
do
black
the-
dice.
Use the advantage to have the droid not make any audible alarms that you're hacking it.
Yeah, can we do that?
Yeah, well, I was going to give
To
you
get
your
to
only
disable-
threat, so it's like, what are you doing,
So an
Stormtrooper?
advantage to your
To
next
do-
time to attack.
Your next teammate.
Well, the slicing, I think, that gives him an advantage for the next time he slices.
Well, remember, that would be for 2 advantage to specifically pick someone. So 1 advantage would be for the next one of you to do something.
Okay.
Okay? So you immediately go up there, and you're getting just the denied. You know, it's no alarms raised, but denied. So Pilot, what are you gonna do? All of a sudden our ace, you know, Zal sees him do that, and
So, we have. So how many people are now in the lift searching
the officer is still looking at you guys because he's got eye contact with Jin and not removing it because he's like, what did I walk in on? He's trying to assess the situation because he knew that there was people down here to talk to the prisoner. He didn't know he was being outranked like this. The 3 army infantry guys are basically checking the elevator out.
I want to blow up the lift because we need to get up.
Yes.
Almost want
We
to.
buried ourselves alive.
I don't want to necessarily get in the lift at them to say, hey, you know.
Crawl on up there. Let me throw your grenade. Here's some light.
Oh, that would be kind of interesting. I want to try and do something that will, like bumbling, but it's really just to screw up their next scores.
So like a coordination?
Like, yeah, or like, oh, here, let me help shine a light, but I blind them instead. But I don't have a light, so, along those lines. You know, it's something to give them a black dice, basically, so. I don't think I have anything that will do
Does our
that.
communication match their communication?
Currently, no. Because you just ambushed a random patrol group to get these uniforms that you're wearing. As the base, they're all on their own private channels. However,
Okay.
it couldn't take you long to take one of their helmets off and find out.
I was thinking she could give them a feedback sound expression, but she can't do that.
I can't do that, yeah, and I don't have the computer wherewithal to do that type of thing. So what I'm gonna do at this point is I'm gonna hold action, to see, because as soon as they start to show aggression towards us, fire.
Oh, okay. So, because it really doesn't, the system doesn't have hold action. It's pretty much you're the last one of your team to go for the next round.
I haven't got it.
Yeah.
I mean,
You
until
can make a
this-
distraction, like
That's-
to
yeah.
further or help the army guys get into
That's
the.
what I wanted.
Do you want to do coordination, charm, coercion?
Coordination
Okay.
to,
So you're gonna go into the lift to help.
yeah, but
Negative
exact
coordination.
opposite.
Okay. So go ahead and give me a coordination roll against 2 purple. As you're going in there to help,
Do you
because
have
you
any
know,
greens?
before you became an Imperial pilot, you used to be a turbo lift engineer.
Thank you. Against 2 purple?
2 purple. So you're basically going in there to help them.
But I'm actually going to have, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 successes and 1 advantage.
Okay, so immediately you kind of like push past your team and walk right past the officer. You're like, let me help, let me help. And immediately it starts to become this bumbling act of you're offering to give a hand up to push somebody up, and immediately, you know.
But I accidentally twist their ankle. Ow!
You know, the guy comes falling down. You see this whole Three Stooges bit starting up in there. Especially with her strength of 2. You know, she was going to boost the guy. Galactic average my butt. Okay, so our soldier.
I still have my weapons on at this point. And if the other army people are distracted, that means the lieutenant is out by himself.
Yeah, actually he is.
And we will we'll shoot at him. So close range.
It is close range, so 1 purple.
Do you want to just vibro knife him instead? It's quieter.
And you already had 1 aim, so you have 1 blue. And if you want to take your maneuver to aim again.
Yep.
Let's see. Are you auto firing?
I am.
I see 2 purple dice there. As all of a sudden his eyes just turn to cold steel.
Oh, well, that sucks. 5 advantages.
All of a sudden, there's this seriously tense moment as the ace, as Zal just walks over there and starts helping the guys. All of a sudden, behind this stormtrooper's helmet, you don't see the look on Kale's face. You just see, all he's seeing is the replays of ALDERAAN exploding and the frozen bodies that he saw in space. And all the life in his eyes just turned to steel. As all of a sudden you rip your blaster on full auto. And this guy, who's about 10 to 15 feet away, and immediately drops into a ball. As your auto fire is blasting all over the corridor, rounds are echoing, barely missing you guys bumbling around in the lift. Everyone is immediately responding to full auto fire in this very enclosed space.
Oh God, they're here.
You good with where you are? No too strained for an extra maneuver there?
Nah, I'm good where I am.
Okay, so the shit has hit the fan.
So for the advantages, I want to give him upgrade his check and give a setback to the next action, as everybody's in chaos.
Okay, so upgrade his, and one setback dice for the first one of them to go. Okay, so top of the initiative. Your boss, he's getting his clothes on. He's all ready, and he's immediately scared because the Imperial probe droid is going to take its turn, and it's going to do the probe droid thing, where it's going to try to inject him with drugs, because that's what it does. And Jesus Christ, this thing's good at what it does.
That's why they happen.
As this, and it runs up to the Bothan, and he's like, getting ready to shoot it, but it beat him on initiative, because, oh dear God.
You have a purple already in there.
Yeah, I know, it's melee.
No.
Oh, that's right. Oh.
Oh, actually, that's pretty good.
Considering.
Takes out that. We have
So you got
3
3
threats.
successes.
So 3 successes, and he immediately runs up to the Bothan and injects something in the Bothan. ARKHAN is yelling as he clutches at the burn on his, the injection. This is burning his flesh, and he's going to take the 3 threat for a free maneuver, and he's going to bolt to the far side of his cell away from the interrogation droid. Because he's like, and then he's going to take a shot on the droid.
Good.
Can you see that green? I can't get your... Because he doesn't like being shot by anybody. And we have 1, 2 successes, 2 advantage. So he's going to shoot the droid. Droid's going to take about 5 points of damage, and it's still ticking, going after him. Obviously, you can tell he is not happy with whatever he was just injected with, as he's going to do his resilience roll. And believe it or not, because he's a champ, he has 1 success and advantage, so he's resisting whatever was just injected into him. As he's like, damn dirty droids! Okay, so top of the initiative order. It's you guys. Who's going first?
Can I go over and set up the biggest weapon?
Okay. And the loudest.
And I'll aim.
Same thing, gonna go after the Imperial officer.
I'll take 2 strain and aim again.
Oh, okay, so you're like.
Are they all in short range?
They are all in short range, yes.
So then I can split the shot.
Well, actually, they're at medium range. The ones in the lift.
Push it medium range.
Okay.
Can you flip a token?
Ooh, okay. So now 3 light side, 4 dark side. Let's get some threats so we can shoot the pilot.
Love you too, honey.
That's not bad.
So again, he's lining up the sights and
2 success, 1 advantage.
Okay, so 2 successes. So 1 shot hits the officer, and then a whole bunch of shots go pelting inside the lift. You're seeing blaster marks inside the lift. The walls get pelted. What's the damage on your weapon?
It'll be 12 damage.
Jeebus Christ. Okay. So he takes a shot square to the chest, and you just see him bleeding. He's still alive, but he's like...
Dang. Do I get my boost dice since he was on the ground?
I'll give you a boost dice.
Alright, so I have 2 advantages. So I'll shoot him twice.
Okay? So the second round, as he's like, you get him once, and he leans
I'll shoot him
back,
for a while.
and just as he leans back, your second bolt goes through his shoulder, and just explodes out his shoulder, and he falls dead.
Boost dice?
Oh, the blue dice. They're called boost dice.
Okay. So how did he get another one?
So if there's an environmental situation or some other narrative reason you think you may get a boost dice, you can ask for one.
Mm-hmm.
And since he was on the ground, couldn't move as well.
Within short distance. He
I
was
got that.
In fact, he was 6 feet away with a long rifle. It's practically touching his face.
Yep.
Okay, and he goes down dead. Which is good, because he snaps. So, which one of y'all is gonna go next before all hell breaks?
Are you good at shooting?
I'm in the cell. She should probably go before the people that are going to shoot her.
Are you good at shooting?
Oh my God, they're here!
And there's been 2 rounds of full
Are you
auto
good
fire
at
at you all.
flying?
I don't know. Let's find out.
Well, you're not bad.
Not great either.
I'll give you a blue dice for the fact that you are also under fire. You're with them. You're like, bros, we're in the trenches together.
Okay, so, and plus I got a new die from his, how many?
To trick these guys, it's
Yeah.
going to be 2 purple, because they're not the most... Actually, no, I lied. It's actually going to be... They are good at this one. It's going to be 2 yellow and a green. 2 purple, 2 red, and a purple.
Sorry.
Okay, maybe we should.
Maybe I'll just.
They're trained in discipline. Hey, you never know. Give it a shot.
What's the worst
What's
that
the
can
worst that
happen?
happens? They all draw and shoot
But
you,
wait,
or are they
wait,
going to shoot
I'm
the
gonna-
guy shooting on
I'm
full auto?
gonna.
Oh, Jesus.
That's a good flip.
Okay.
Yeah. Just to.
Just to
Try and
improve your
balance
odds.
3 to spare.
So you're playing off that you're one of these guys, and you're going to
Shit.
die.
I'm gonna
Ooh,
die.
You have so much advantage, though.
I know. I got it. Okay, so that.
Really? I'm not with them. She shoves them out the lift in front of
I've got
everybody.
3 failures, but I've got 4 advantages. I'm gonna die.
So immediately you look at them, and you do that scene that Ash had in you look at him, and you look at them. I ain't with these assholes.
I'm like, I'm just trying to do my job.
And immediately,
Whisper.
they don't buy your BS whatsoever, and you can tell they're all going for their pistols.
Oh, fuck.
You know, they're nice, big, carbine pistols. Granted, you do know for a fact they're more interested in the guy who's got the full auto heavy blaster rifle shooting right behind them. But you do have
Still
a
shooting the cat.
ton of advantage.
And
What would you like?
Second action?
For 3, you an ally or you could do another maneuver. You could push past them to get back to your teammates, and
Yeah.
still have 2 advantage.
Can I do that and drop
Yeah.
a grenade at the same time?
No.
No, I don't want to blow up the shaft.
Well, that would be an extra action.
Yeah. So.
But you
I'm
could
just
take
gonna-
a free maneuver, so you're basically because you haven't done your maneuver either.
Yeah, I want to do that, and
So you're
can I
like-
give them black dice for like pushing them?
Yeah. So you're like, I ain't with these guys. You're backing away
and then-
into the auto fire.
And then I'm gonna go directly behind where I was hiding.
So you're hiding behind your teammates, walking past the corpse of the.
On the other side of the.
Oh, so you're taking cover?
Yes.
Okay, so you're immediately like, I'm not with these guys as you're parking yourself
And
behind cover.
And I push them to give them give them black dice.
Give them a black dice on their action because they're about
because
to
they
do
have to
something.
kind of recover.
Because they're all pulling their guns and looking at the guy who just aced their boss. And they're gonna light him up because they're like, oh hell no, these gotta be rebel scum, they are. And immediately they're gonna get ready to take a fire. They are trained in that, so that's good to know. It's like one of the few things they're good at.
But stormtroopers are good at
Well, actually, these are just Imperial Army. They're not even stormtroopers. And they're actually gonna, the 3 of them squat up on you, and they do that slow creep walk to get within short range of you.
Forget the black dice.
I tried to forget that. So they're gonna aim just to make things more interesting. Actually, no, they can't.
Upgrade their roll, make it more interesting.
We'll only have okay.
Well, no.
No, upgrade their.
Do they want to upgrade theirs?
That's
So we
right,
get more-
because
so we
there's-
get more points back.
We didn't flip one.
No,
He did.
it was the
Oh.
thing he did earlier.
Oh.
He was going to use it for the lieutenant, but he aced the lieutenant instead. What it is they saw him get blasted and fall out of fire, and they were scared shitless.
Ooh, that was close. Those triumph.
Failure.
So they start lighting you up.
But
Sadly,
they miss.
We are so bad at shooting.
they just pew, 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 and then just 3 blaster bolts are blasting around the walls of you. Cause
We are A-teaming this ship.
Yes.
Like, stop firing at the captain and like.
Did someone shoot you? And they're gonna give the next one of you guys that takes an action of black dice because of their little volley fires. They're like all operator style, creeping up, open, completely exposed to dying in one ball.
So which one are you doing next?
I'll take the black dice.
Okay.
Because I'm going to yell at them for letting rebel scum into this base.
Remember, there is still the droid going after your boss.
I'm going to be taking
Yes.
care of that.
Okay.
So, but I'm going to yell at them and hopefully cause them some strain by yelling at them. Ooh, no, that was too many bad.
So
Actually,
you start to scathing tirade them.
I do. I start to scathing tirade them.
Are you
but-
calling them on Imperial code? Unfortunately, use the wrong code. It's the code for doggy doo
Yeah,
on your boot.
One failure, one advantage.
Okay, well, what would you like to do for your one advantage?
I'm gonna give him a blue.
Okay,
Because
next person to go.
I'm taking the attention from these guys, so he's got a little bit more.
Okay, so you're just like, hey guys, we're all friends here, and they're looking at their commanding officer's body, and they're like, oh shit, we don't believe that for a second. Meanwhile, in the cell, the interrogation droid is going after your boss.
And it was 3 purple?
Are you gonna what are you gonna shoot him or?
No, I'm going to still try and reprogram the droid.
Oh, the hack. Okay,
The
yeah,
hack.
3 purple. It was 4 the first time because you're basically surprising him and going, ha ha! Now it's just straight on hacking because you're still plugged into it. You're like, I can.
Do I
can
get
hack this
an
thing.
Okay, so you're taking away the 1 purple because it's a continuing
Yeah,
thing?
because you're basically, it's a hard thing because you're hacking its hard drive, but it wasn't as hard as before.
Okay.
Because before you had to like surprise it, stick your thing in the data port, and hit the hack button. And apparently, this probe droid, this interrogation droid, is not one to be broken like any other code.
Apparently not.
Yeah.
So
One
gradient-
failure
Oh,
and
pretty much one failure.
Even.
yeah.
Yeah, so you start hacking, and again you get that. Password was not. Don't forget.
Okay, so 2 strain to take an additional action?
To take an additional maneuver.
Oh, maneuver,
Yeah.
not action.
Yeah.
Okay.
So for the cheat sheet,
Okay.
that's what the maneuvers are you can do. if you're interested in doing some more of those. Because you are like right there, you got this little, your data pad's got the little stretchy foam cord, little dealio. The whole generation doesn't know what that is.
Oh, sorry, I could have used the maneuver for an extra blue. Or not?
Not really.
Okay. That would be an action, that would be an action.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Darth Vader appears.
So,
Well,
yeah.
if the
Basically, I'm supposed to be the slicer. Apparently, I'm not.
well, if the probe droid is trying to get to the Bothan, what if you get in between the probe droid and the Bothan?
You are in Stormtrooper armor. It
Like,
will
yeah,
acknowledge your position.
Not doing something
It's good to
to like get, but just be kind of
But
like,
you
oops, I'm
so
just
you'll
in the
give
way.
them you'll give the Bothan an
Because
advantage.
as a slicer, you know it's directly following the last order it was given, which was initiate interrogation upon the Bothan. So it's ignoring that's why it's ignoring you. Is it's going straight for its job. It is sent to interrogate the Bothan. So
Okay,
it's
but to try and give it a new command would still be.
well, you could. What he's suggesting is as a maneuver, just
You're
get
just
between
getting
you and the
between
Bothan.
it and
Okay.
Because it'll do the
It'll
whole
give the-
think like Flash Gordon when the probe is right there in Flash
Okay.
Gordon's face. It doesn't know exactly what to
and it'll give the
do.
Bothan an advantage.
Or you jump on it and weigh it down.
Or something. Like, I don't know. It's certainly not gonna hurt.
Since I'm in Stormtrooper, should I say acknowledge new order and get in front of it?
Yeah.
Oh. Yes, interrogate the.
That's what I was trying to do. Acknowledge new order.
Okay, and it kind of like looks at you and gives the beep, 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 beep. And basically it's asking you in binary that it wants your security clearance, which you are
We have
good
it. We have it in the code. We have
Yeah.
it.
If you tap your little thing to on your neck, do you want to do that as a maneuver?
Is that a maneuver or an
That
action?
could be a maneuver.
Okay.
Basically, you're interacting with the
I'm
environment.
interacting. Okay.
Okay, so you step in between them, throw that out, and then you beep with the data spike. And immediately it acknowledges you as Lieutenant so-and-so, who's dead on the floor, but you have the identification stick, that's all that matters. And it's like, confirmed, identity confirmed.
So now I can do a string to do another maneuver to give it an order?
No. Basically,
Okay.
it's waiting for you to provide it in order.
Okay, and it will do that next
And
turn
it will
then.
do that, yep. Okay, so top of the order, the droid is actually paused looking at you. Your Bothan boss is kind of like skirting around you, and he's going to attempt to like zip around you in a way that doesn't get the droid's attention, even though it's kind of turning and acknowledging it, but it's waiting, it's doggedly waiting for your command. And immediately, he gets out in the hallway, he looks at the three guys, and he's like, let's get out of here! Don't let them raise an alarm! As he probably shouldn't have said that, because immediately the guys are getting the idea of, maybe we should go raise the alarm.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so, who would like to take the first spot?
Objection.
No, go ahead.
He's got the boomstick.
He's got the big boomstick. Big bada boom.
Oh, double aim.
Ooh.
Auto fire.
Okay. So he's taking the strain up the wazoo.
Damn it. 1 advantage, 2 successes. So
Okay.
12 damage.
12 damage.
Black die.
Give him another black. And immediately the first guy in line goes down in a second through the wall. Second one gets kind of a hit, but he's still kind of wobbling on his feet. And he's actually looking at his buddy like, keep him here! You immediately get the idea that he's going to go raise the alarm with his blaster arm all shot up. The other guy shoots a couple stray shots that don't really do anything except for cause effect. And he goes up to the lift and basically hits a button. And immediately you start to see whooping red lights.
Okay, my turn.
Okay?
Communications, jam the alarm.
Okay, so you're gonna drop your data pad and whip out the backpack and start jamming?
Presente.
God bless you. Okay, so basically it's straight computer roll against 2 purple. You're gonna basically turn on now. Are you gonna jam just the Imperial signal, or you could just jam everything, just for shits and giggles, so nobody can get any communications out?
Let's start with just jamming Imperial.
Okay. So that's gonna add a black dice to you, but that's just because you're being really specific. No, it's not?
No, it's not.
Because you have an ability that removes black dice for
dice.
computer rolls, don't you?
Yes.
I'm glad you checked.
Yeah, we're a code breaker or
Mhm.
any communications.
So immediately you're like, this should be difficult, but no, it's not. And you whip your backpack real quick, and you're like, I'll be right with you, droid. And you immediately crank the signal to turn your jammer on. So go ahead and make your roll. You just need to succeed. You got this. See? You totally got this.
You did.
One success. So immediately you.
Put the kibosh
And you
on
kind
that.
of notice both the 2 surviving troopers do this kind of squelch on their helmets. Obviously, your jammer is squelching their signal. You know, and both of you, wearing your Imperial helmets, realize that there is a hiss going on in your helmet that your Imperial, signals have been jammed. At this point, you may want to pull your helmets off and have your rogue communicators in action. Because, you don't need to use the Imperial signal because you're just getting that horrible squelch. Okay? So you good with sitting where you are with the droid just lazily watching you, waiting for orders? This poor droid is like, seriously? You were talking. Now you're talking to your machine?
So interacting with it is a maneuver, and I haven't done a maneuver yet.
Depends on what you mean by interacting.
Talking to it.
Talking to it? Yeah, you can talk to it. Hacking it, though, that's an action.
Okay. Changing plans, we're going to take the Bothan back to headquarters and interrogate it there.
Is it just like nods affirmative to you? And then it's just kind of like.
Rebels might try to attack him. Anybody who's attacking him, counterattack.
Kind of signals, yes, okay? And then like you're sensing on your data pad that it's initiating target self-defense protocols, blah, blah, blah. And it starts to hover near the Bothan. Now, you gonna say anything, by the way? Because your Bothan friend's about to shoot him. It's following him. That's all he acknowledges.
If I've got, okay. He's ours now, it'll attack anybody who's attacking you.
He kind of looks at the interrogation droid, needle mark on his collarbone. Thumbs up. All right. This is why you're my crack team.
All right.
Okay, next.
Crack team.
Okay?
Crack.
I'll go.
Secret whisper crack team.
So you got one guy in the elevator at medium range, one guy that creeped up with his rifle at short range.
I'm gonna shoot the one at short range.
Okay?
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah. Oh, no, I can shoot the one in the medium range.
Yeah. It's just the
Okay,
short
do the
range is
medium
less purple.
Short one, then.
Okay. So that's one
Okay.
purple. That's a lot of dice.
Yes, it is.
Naturally good at shooting things.
Okay.
Nice.
Too many dice?
No, it's.
Yeah,
wait
one
a
too
minute.
many.
Yeah.
Okay.
So regardless.
So, sorry, that was one too many.
Yeah.
The green. Oops, sorry. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 successes and 2 advantages.
What's your weapon's damage?
7
So,
and
12
crits on a
damage.
3. So
You don't need to worry about the crit because you take the shot, hit him right between the eyes, and he drops. And what would you like to do with your 2 advantage?
I am going to give. Who's next?
You can do, well, actually, it's 2. Remember, it's 2 advantage. You can pick, or you can do a black and a blue to the next blue to the next of each.
You know what? Yeah, it's so disarmed. The guy who's the medium range.
He
like,
just
oh,
crack
God,
shot it.
That bam right between the eyes. He's gonna take a black just because he's pissing himself. And then the next person on our side to go will get a blue.
Okay. So immediately the pilot just like out of nowhere, side holsters the guy in the face, and he's
And
like,
I'm like,
I knew you weren't with us, but I was hoping. Okay.
Well, they tried to shoot me too, so.
So there's this one guy.
One
like,
guy
you know, he's seen everyone else
wounded.
get killed.
Can't call out for help.
I'm a coerce him into joining the rebellion. It's like, what are your job prospects? How would you like to not be dead right now?
Okay, so it's going to be against 2 purple, and you're immediately going to coerce him to the rebellion.
Yes.
I wouldn't trust him.
And we don't need to trust him for that much.
He's just trying to lull him into a false sense of security.
Yeah, if we get another rebel, we get another rebel. If we don't, stop shooting at us for 2 minutes. A success and a disadvantage. And a threat. Success and a threat.
Okay, so take a point of strain for the threat. As immediately he's got his hand on that alarm button. And he's holding his blaster wound. And he's seeing all the corpses between you and him. And you throw out these words of, join the rebellion. We've got cookies.
The rebellion isn't going to shoot itself.
It's amazing how tempted that is. See, I said cookies. Now we're all thinking cookies. And you see his hand kind of falter off the display. And he kind of looks at you with sad eyes like, seriously, for reals?
Yes.
You won't kill me?
No.
How about you just leave me in one of these cells and you all leave?
That's not a bad idea. All right. What's your name?
Tompkins?
Tompkins. Good for you, Tompkins. I'm glad that you're gonna live.
He's not gonna be teased something.
No, he's just an army guy.
Do you want to get shot in the leg so it doesn't look like you gave up too easily?
And he just looks at his blaster wound. He's like, I think.
Do you think Vader would be okay with that?
I think Vader would never come to this crappy dust bowl in the galaxy far.
That's also probably true.
Just
You
put
know
me
what?
in a cell. I surrender.
I'm gonna take your personal information, and we are going to hear from you
Space with
soon.
You whip his wallet out and you take his driver's license.
Okay, disable his communications.
No, you're like,
though.
yeah, we're gonna disable your
Okay,
communications.
you take his communicator
Yeah, don't
off.
worry,
And we're gonna take your weapon, sorry.
He's like, I dropped it back in the lift.
That's fine. I understand. There was a lot of shiny things that went all over the place. Now, if you want to go sit in not the cell on the left, there's a lot of blood there. Right.
I don't believe you rebels would come for that Bothan trash.
Hey!
He got caught.
I'm gonna punch him. Just gonna punch him.
So go for a brawl.
I am. I'm gonna just punch him for that. I'm
How
terrible.
Tompkins, you're doing a bad job of surrendering.
It's against 2 purple. I mean, go melee him out.
I got 2 successes, but I really hurt my hand.
You never punch someone in the face.
Immediately
okay?
you go up there and you slug him.
He hadn't taken his helmet off.
He goes down. I mean, literally, he only had 1 point left. He goes down unconscious from your punch.
Xenophobic scum.
As his helmet goes rolling away, your ARKHAN looks at you and he's got this like puppy dog derpy smile, little tongue sticking out. Where he's like, "You like me?
You really like me."
And basically, he's like, well. So
But he absorbed it.
It's gonna be 2 strain as you immediately popped off and popped him. Yes, y'all are straining. Feel the strain now. So you guys are in the hallway. You've taken out everybody.
Can we turn off the alarm?
The alarm is buzzing. You're gonna.
I thought we
put your-
already turned. I thought we already turned it off.
No, I jammed it.
He jammed the radios, so they can't signal. So you go up there with your data pad, and you're gonna go plug into the control panel. Okay. You do your little version of R2's thing, where you jiggle the keys when you need to get to unlock and start your hack. So you're wanting to shut off the red alerts or just silence the alarm?
Go back to all clear.
Okay, so it's going to be 3 purple, and it's going to be a black, because it's almost like there's someone on the other end of this system.
Yeah, and I ignore them.
Goodbye.
Ah, yes you do.
And that's still a clear roll, which is 2 of those, 1 of those.
And do you have to be skilled to assist? Do you have to be skilled in this
Nope.
to assist?
But are you better than the combination, or are you just going to give him blue?
What is the skill that you
Intellect.
Computers?
I don't have
So?
it. My int is not bad, but I think it's the same as yeah.
So basically,
What is the intellect of the interrogation droid?
it is 4.
Ooh.
Do you want to ask the droid to?
What's your opinion on this?
It acknowledges your authority if you'd like to ask it to assist.
This is my favorite.
Yeah.
Okay, so
So
you immediately say, "Hey droid, what are you standing there for? Help me." And it's going to add another green to your pool because its intel is 4.
I like the mouse droids.
Mouse droids can't inject people with horrible drugs, okay?
His job, his
Not my
one
fault.
job was to kill the Bothan in case no one wanted to play him.
Ooh, triumph!
Nice.
Lots of good stuff.
Lots of good stuff. So that
Oh, mercy.
takes out that. And that turns that down to 1. So you basically have 1 threat, which isn't bad. Basically, you're stressing it because you're realizing at any second this interrogation droid is going to realize you're a Duros and not a human and come after your ass. And the vengeance it's going to get is going to be epic.
But it's a droid. It's not even the.
It's an Imperial species droid. But you got to triumph. So immediately you are hacking into the system, and you're realizing that you're basically giving it a false alarm message.
Right.
That this was just a test the emergency broadcasting system. totally cool. No, not even a reactor leak. Just a test of the emergency button pushing
We're all
system.
fine here.
We're all
How are
fine
you?
here.
That was one of the
Fine.
100% accidentally hit the button.
You're using the lieutenant's
yes.
passcode. He must have accidentally hit the button while down here. Everything's fine. And you're actually getting a response to the computer system from one of the command center techs replying back, hey, is it all clear? And you're like, buddy Jesus, pistols. As literally the alarms all shut down.
10-4, we're just code 7 here.
And as immediately everyone in the group is in awe that you just turn the base on red alert to everything's cool, man. Everything's cool.
Alright.
Be cool, man. Be
Crack
cool.
team.
Good job, Ray. Lift down.
Spirit fingers is
And
part
the
of ours.
interrogation droid just looking at you as it pulls its little probe thing out. As you're getting a really close look of all the blades around it and all the torture devices on it. So do you want to try to hack it next, or you just get the authority you have over it?
You did tell it to protect the bottom.
Yeah, right now I think we're good.
I think it's more
Okay.
important that we can get out
We
of
need
here,
to,
right?
we need to
Yeah.
start moving.
Yeah.
As it sticks out a hypo needle.
Like BB-8.
Oh boy. Yeah, because we have burned through some of those 2
Yeah,
hours.
totally.
Holy mackerel.
Yeah, so
we got to get moves.
so what are you guys doing?
We get moves.
Okay.
Get
So
on
you guys
that.
get in the lift?
Actually, how about we get on the lift?
Yes. Get
Okay.
Getting
So
on
you
the
We
guys.
did lock the guy in the cell, though, right?
Yes. Well, Tompkins is unconscious in the
Yep. So you guys get in the lift, you hit the button for the lift, you thankfully have his data sync to authorize it. Now the
Girl
lift
from Ipanema.
is actually ridiculously fast because it goes from about 100 feet underground to surface level here. You guys pop up here. That's where the lift is. It comes out in the hallway here.
Someone's dropping a dime.
Now you know from when you came in, you came in this way. You were told, here's the communications room, here's the training room. You saw some guys shooting in the firing range, and you went
Take
down
one
the lift. You do know from the basic diagram, because of course this is your standard Imperial base, you've hacked the cheapest contractor's blueprints, and you know that command center's over here, there's like a briefing area there, there's barracks here, you probably don't want to go to the barracks. And there's a garage with vehicles over on this side. This is their communications hub, which is, by the way, on the way out the door. And where would you guys like to head? What is your plan for your escape?
So if we're already on ground level, I think we should go to the rec room. because people standing around talking is most natural in a rec room, as opposed to like if we're just kind of standing around in a hallway, being like, "How are we gonna get out of
Or
this place? How are we gonna
perhaps
do
we
this?"
make a
Let's
beeline
just go
for
through
the ship.
and go out.
No fun at all.
But there's games.
I'll
Hollow
put,
chest.
I'll put solitaire on the ship for you, okay?
Okay, and you know, ARKHAN's looking at you guys. You know, you guys got in here. What's the quickest way out?
Yeah, that's probably. I mean, if this is probably the way that we came, so let's do it. Let's go
Okay,
that
so
way.
you guys are heading out.
Put a helmet on the Bothan so that way they can't see it's a Bothan.
Okay,
He's
so
just really short for a stormtrooper.
and he kind of looks at you guys like, "This is ridiculous." You put a stormtrooper helmet on a guy wearing Imperial, you know, street clothes.
Well, it's not a stormtrooper, it's one of those army helmets.
Well, did you
He's
grab
an
one of
army
those
clothes.
helmets? Did you incidentally
army
grab
helmet.
one?
Say the army helmets don't cover the face. They
Yeah,
just
the
have
army
top.
helmets only do.
Well, he took.
If put that on the goggles.
That
put it
or
on,
we
it would
just
get
put
that.
him in,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not the
I
super.
thought he
fake
had every
Chewbacca
single
thing.
lieutenant hat.
he's got
Well, no,
like
the
fake.
lieutenant basically is just
Yeah.
wearing a cap.
And you'll fake Chewbacca thing.
Yeah.
You know, do the Chewbacca
These
thing where it's
guys,
got fake.
these
men.
guys don't know that aliens are necessarily intelligent. What if we disguise him as our dog creature?
Well, they know what you know. They probably know what a Bothan is, and that there's a high priority Bothan prisoner on the base. You guys do know that that's probably common knowledge on base.
Okay. But let's.
Let's just escort him as a prisoner.
Okay.
We
Now,
have the probe droid to help
Who's-
deliver our story.
who's got the best perception on the group?
Two
I've only got 3.
Two.
Green.
or two green.
I got
I've
3
got a
green.
yellow and 2 green.
That
So
would
if
be
you
our,
see-
that would be our spy. He's all about noticing things. Go ahead and give me a roll against 2 purple. I'll give you some tips really quick as you take that moment of silence and as you're all debating on how to get out of here. And it's
Woo,
a good moment.
3 successes.
Yep, and 1 threat. So point of strain is you're like, if someone realizes I'm a Duros, I'm a dead man. As you know, you're realizing people should be reacting to the jammer going off now that you hit the elevator.
Well, once the alarm goes off, I undo the camera.
Oh, okay, so you reached
don't
back and
need the
flipped the
jammer
jammer off as it was just a test of
Right.
the Duros broadcast system. So immediately you kind of like tweak your helmet out there because of course you know the helmet's got crappy audio receptors. And immediately you're hearing a rifle discharging off in this area. You were told that don't be surprised, there's a rifle range there, so you were actually advised don't worry if you hear blaster fire, we have an indoor rifle range. And more importantly, you're hearing the echo of boots coming from this direction.
Let's not go that way. Let's go the other way.
No,
The barracks.
this
Yes.
way.
So let's go this way, away from the boots.
Okay. So you guys start to like get all close combat style, or are you guys splitting up and sending scouts out?
Well, I'd say that what he said works fairly
We're
well.
doing the
Let's
prisoner
let's
transfer
do the prisoner transfer thing where like the 2 lightly armed people are in front and the 2 lightly armed people and the 2 heavily armed people are back.
Okay. So you got your pilot and your officer, and then 2 stormtroopers leading the rear,
Yeah.
and your Bothan friend's got like his shirt over his arms like that, like
Yes.
he's pretending
And
to
the
be tough.
interrogator grid is on
And
top
it's
of
it's
it.
hover, it's following your orders of escorting the prisoner. So he's just like, oh man, gonna have to give you blue dice here, 2 blue dice actually, if we do run into anything. So you guys come walking by here, and as soon as you do, you realize that there's 2 stormtrooper sergeants, thanks to their shoulder color, basically in the rifle range discharging, and they kind of glance at you guys. Go ahead and give me a deception. It's going to be against.
We're gonna let the diplomat.
You're gonna have 2 blue because this looks legit. I mean, this looks like the absolute legit
We are like
against
super
2
legit.
yellow.
Against
legit
2 yellow?
to-
2, I
quit.
mean, 2 red. Sorry, 2 red.
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 Yeah,
Red.
they actually have 2 rings.
Okay.
In,
Do we want to
Sure.
increase
hot one.
this?
Wow.
Because this is
Yeah.
really important.
you're gonna make every other roll impossible now.
And is this going to benefit from the blue die for
Yeah.
your guy? How many blue die?
It's 2 blue die because basically your boss is he's helping you and he's super good at cunning. So He's selling
You did
it.
a
He's
good job.
beaten prisoner.
That blue die killed a red die, and that's good.
Hey, that's how good the Bothan is.
Yeah, we succeeded with 2 threat. So
Okay. So
6 successes.
one of the
Six
sergeants
successes.
kind of like elbows the other one, and they stop shooting. And they like look, and they're mad dogging your Bothan prisoner. They're like, brother Scum, how many of our brothers died because of that Scum? And immediately you're hearing them say this. And that's going to be the true strain for you, is you're thinking, oh shit, they're just going to shoot this guy. As they're like, good riddance to that alien scum. As all of a sudden, Arcturus buddies like douchebags stormtroopers. As you go walking by, you come in this direction, you hear some noise coming, so you guys are about right here-ish.
Yes.
As you're realizing there's the refresher there, if anybody, does somebody make the crack on the way by? Does anybody got to go before we leave? Because if not, your boss is going to see you.
Of course he is. That makes sense.
So you guys look this way, and you hear there's some noise of people, basically the barracks and all. So you guys get to this section here. Things are going great. It's going smooth. But as soon as you get to here, you realize there's 3 troopers. Basically, you remember when you came down, that their jobs to guard the access way to the lift, to make sure that nobody messes with ships that come and go. You see that they're looking at you, and they're just like side to eye. As one of them starts to lift a communicator up and makes you can just realize he's gesturing on a communicator. And you guys come walking up, and 2 of them are flanking the door, and the other one kind of like steps out in the hallway and does the whole hey yo. And he's just like, are you hitting the jammer? Okay, so immediately you hit your jammer, and you hear the squelch on his communicator, and both you guys in your helmets are hearing the squelch, and one of the guys is like,
And we're
ah!
all like, everyone go,
Okay,
It's not steady, it's just.
you're squelching in and out. Okay, so I'm assuming you're going to go for deception?
Yeah.
Lowest bidder Imperial products.
Well, it's a jungle planet. Something
He's asking.
I will give you a blue dice for the jamming going off, because he didn't get a reply from his message of, are we sending the prisoner up? Squelch, 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 squelch.
Well, of course we're sending the prisoner out. The trash compactor's this way.
No, the trash compactor this way.
Right over that way. That's where we're headed.
And he gives you this side-eye look. Go ahead and give me a charm or deception. He's making a joke because he's a speciest Imperial wanting to take trash out.
Yeah.
We're taking this soon-to-be corpse to the trash compactor.
What do you do with a Bothan rebel? What
What's
do
the
you do with a Bothan rebel? It's going to be...
Hello.
Hey!
Hey! Hello.
Aww, it's getting so big.
Yeah, it's big. It's Hunter. My goodness. Oh my goodness.
Hunter is Moose Boy.
Oh my God, I haven't seen him since he was little.
Do you need to take something? Do you need to bring me something? Take something?
There you go. You want to take those?
She's like, what am I going to do with those?
Someone has it on.
He's getting crunchy.
Would she like me with my wife's
Oh, he's cookies.
Uh-huh.
I'm sure the boys will take you up on cookies. I'll take you up on cookies.
Right? Well,
I
since
don't
you're
know if,
opening it,
I don't
right?
know if
Yeah.
the neighbors happen to do like church or something.
Oh. He's gonna be up for a little bit.
Thank you. One of you want to go? Apparently I need another one.
No, I'll take a small one.
Oh, you take a small one?
Small one. Thank you.
No.
Here, take a little bite.
You should.
It's like marshmallow.
I'm good.
Eat it. Take a bite. Take a bite.
Hey. So it's going to be against 1 red and 2 purple. And you get a blue because of the squelching radio. And a blue
for the.
because the lie is being worked.
Oh, okay.
The Blues did not do the job
Jesus.
that time.
Those purpose gave no failure, so.
So yeah, like we succeeded.
Or there's a little bit
But there
more.
are blank dice everywhere.
So it was
3
right.
successes and a threat.
Okay, so the threat is, once again, another point of strain because everyone's
Right.
going, ow, ow, why do the radios keep doing this? They've been doing this for like the last 10 minutes. And he's like, well, haha, trash compactor. I assume you're taking him back to your ship?
Yep.
And is you guys are you guys walking up the ramp?
Yep.
Okay, he's like, you know, as you start going up the ramp, he's like, just so you know, I think your ship might be locked down since we got a message from Strike Fast.
Who?
The ship that you're worried about coming to take the prisoner.
Oh, lovely.
Shit.
So you guys are walking right past him and just.
What was the message?
All I know is that they're coming soon. So they asked us to lock down the base for security. I think the command center may have locked your ship down up there unless you have clearance to go. As the Duros smiles under his helmet, going, "I've got clearance for everything."
Well, I guess we should secure the prisoner in the ship and then figure out what we're gonna do about the clearance.
Yes.
Okay.
In the ship.
Good luck with that. As you're just like, pulling your earbuds out.
Okay, so we're all in the ship.
We guys all come up on the flight deck.
Mm-hmm.
There's your land-to-stop shuttle. It's the one with the 3 wings that fold up. Immediately, your pilot recognizes it as she comes up and looks. On your landing pad, there's usually a little green light that lets you know you're okay, but since this is an Imperial shuttle, it's part of the base's network, and it's got the red light, meaning it's landlocked at the moment.
So where do we
Now-
need to go?
Our tech does know that over here there's a little control panel where you basically can communicate to command and control to talk to them and say, hey, turn the lock off. Or as our slicer might know, you can whip in there and try to hack the crap out of the system.
Is this a physical thing that's holding the ship down? Or is this
It's
just
like a
electronic?
magnet kind of lock. It's like a boot, think of boot
Okay.
for the ship. Now also, you do realize there's a pair of turbo lasers that if you try leaving without permission, might
They
turn
can
around
shoot
and
us out of
shoot
the
you.
sky.
Also, you do know as the slicer, there's probably cameras up here. They are really good. No, I'm good for now because there's a lot of sugar. It's pure sugary deliciousness.
And eggs.
The binding agent.
Obviously, what we need to do is get in touch with command and control. So I'll go over with the spy to the console, and I will very loudly be talking to command and control while he is obviously working the volume to make sure, because there's interference that's happening right now. So he'll be working on the interference while I'm talking to command and control.
Okay.
Loudly.
Okay, so you guys kind of walk up there. You're like, hello, because you know the camera's up there. So you walk up to it. Are you guys getting on the ship, or
I was like, well, I'm getting on the ship.
because you
What-
stole the ship,
yeah.
so you got access codes to getting on the
One
ship?
would have to presume that they have to
Everyone
act
else
like
is
Yeah.
getting on the ship.
Yeah, we're going to secure the prisoner.
Mhm.
And of course, I'm going to do the pre-flight.
Warm up. Okay, as the big
Because I
guy
can
with the
start,
rifle
I
just
can
elbows
start
the
plotting
prisoner.
the astrogation.
Ooh, that's a good one. Okay, so you immediately get in
My
the.
sweet ass time doing it.
We don't have to take your sweet time.
No, I mean for astrogation to make sure I've got it perfect.
Oh,
So,
So-
like aiming, but for
And then for the turbo lasers, are they person
they're automated. They're
Automated?
basically operated from the command center.
Okay.
So you guys basically, you realize that your group's got the hatch open. She's got let's ride, so she can like immediately get into her cockpit. Like without even
I'm-
blinking, she's in the
I'm
cockpit.
plotting the astrogation.
So you guys get up there. Now, are you gonna hack while he's communicating? or are
I'm
you
not,
just gonna
I'm,
play
I'm not going to communicate at all. I'm actually just going to be speaking really
Just
loudly so that these guys can obviously hear me
You're having
talking
some
on the
technical
thing.
difficulties?
Yes, which we have been experiencing.
Uh-huh.
So I'm going to be talking, the guards will hopefully hear me making noise, and then he will be.
So basically,
Slicing.
you're doing a distraction.
I am only there to cover for
So
him.
go ahead and give me a deception.
Okay.
And that way we can hopefully give him some boosts here.
Difficulty.
It's going to be, wow, believe it or not, 4 purple. They have no skill in discipline, but apparently the intrusion specialists are really good at cunning. They're not skilled in deception, resisting deception, but they're really cunning.
Triumph. There's a ton of threat, but there is a triumph at the right moment.
So how much threat do you
I
have?
have 5 threat.
5 threat. I like that. That's good. So it's going to give you a black die.
No, it won't.
Well, he's gonna get the
He's
black
gonna
die
get more
regardless.
black die.
Yeah, because he might get more. So.
Yeah. And as you drop to a knee and basically you're getting ready to start hacking, right? You plug in your jack from your data pad into the hack, and you're just like, okay, I got this. I'm gonna hack. And the 3 mysterious threat that I'm stealing from him is immediately you plug in the data port. And the second you do, all of a sudden you realize some of the machinery you thought was machinery is a leg that steps down from the other side of the kiosk.
Oh God.
And it's a K-series security droid. Basically, from Rogue One, the big black droids, that he immediately gets to its full height and basically looks at you as you're jacking into the port there. And you all of a sudden realize this large, looming
Droid,
security-
identify yourself.
I'm K-84. Identify yourself, Imperial personnel.
Use the
The lieutenant's identification.
He basically steps back when you offer to stick a data spike into him. Authorization verbal code only. He's a hacking security droid. He doesn't use without permission.
How much armor does it look like he has?
It's pretty tough. They're
This is a
built to take a
legit security
beat.
droid.
Yeah.
If you remember from Rogue One, it took a lot of shots to take him down.
Hold on.
You can just ignore him and hack the computer. I mean, as you look at your data pad in one hand, your rifle in the other. Hi.
Would deception or skullduggery be able to give me previous knowledge of Imperial codes?
Skullduggery might, but it's gonna be really hard. It's gonna be like a hard roll with purple and a black.
Knowledge warfare?
Do you have a whatever data pad is on you?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Data pad? What if I distract the droid briefly while you look up the lieutenant's information on your data pad?
Oh, you distracted him fine. That's what attracted his attention with you shouting.
So, but like so you could look through that data, whatever information we have on the lieutenant.
Hold on. What's today's
Go
code?
ahead. You can give me a computer roll to see if you can find any information.
Control F. Control F.
It's gonna be 3 purple and a black.
Ooh.
Because you're like immediately pulling up droid schematics saying, hold on.
But you take away the black.
Take away the black.
You take away the black because you're all about, you have your Google foo going, you're like, K, security droid, defects.
Well, no, I'm actually trying to find this lieutenant security code.
Super. Reroll that guy.
Triumph!
Nice.
So what code exactly are you looking for?
I'm
Security
looking
code
for,
he
I'm
was
actually
asking
looking for the lieutenant security code to be able to tell him what we should be
Okay,
able to
so
go.
immediately you're flipping through there, you like stick the data spike into your pad and it immediately brings up everything. You're just like, moment, queuing, inquiry pending. As you're talking binary, the droid's just like, response required. And immediately you've got the lieutenant's whole dossier of his life story there. It's got his medical records, everything. Apparently he carries all that around in his data spike.
That is not good OPSEC. Just saying.
You know when they say don't put your passwords on a notepad on your computer? Well, you've got everything about it. So you can immediately look up and give him the lieutenant's identification. Okay, so immediately he... Identification acknowledged. Why are you wearing stormtrooper armor, Lieutenant? You do not have classification, stormtrooper training.
There were rebels shooting at us.
And immediately you say that, and he reaches into his back and whips out a heavy carbine.
They were that way.
Give me a deception roll. Now, it's going to be against 3 red.
No.
It's still going to be against 3 red, but you can always upgrade his roll.
No.
Yeah. It's one of 2 things this droid's good at. The other one is shooting
speaking,
people.
It doesn't matter. I mean, even racing into a...
There's another opportunity for a triumph.
Yeah. See?
triumph.
Another triumph.
Sweet.
Okay, so immediately you're like, rebels! Over there shooting up the place. And immediately upon hearing rebels, his photoreceptors turn red. And he's like, initiating rebel deterrent. And he just cycles his blaster again for another discharge. You're just like, oh shit, I don't want to fight this guy. And so you've got...
Sector escape.
You got 3 advantage. So, what would you like to do with your 3 advantage?
Blue dice on your slicing. For the lockdown.
Yeah, for the lockdown. Blue dice on the next.
Okay, so blue dice for everybody and a specific blue dice for you? Or do you want to use your 3 advantage to downgrade the difficulty?
Oh, that's what I'm
Yeah, I'll downgrade the difficulty.
Okay, so you're just like, hey, well, because you're now going to use the lieutenant's passwords, right?
Yeah.
You've got the passwords in the data pad there. Okay, so immediately the droid believes exactly what you're saying. And you point to where exactly are you telling him that the rebels are?
downstairs.
Yeah, down in the cells.
And he kind of like gives you this double look that you're seeing him do the math. And he immediately like double times it across there to go
We
shoot
got like
some rebels.
5 minutes, maybe less.
So he's double timing to go shoot some rebels.
Slice.
Okay, so what's the rest of you? What are the rest of you doing?
Is there, for the lock, is there anything in here, like I can try to physically use to try to pry it off? Or...
Well, he's slicing it.
You could try a mechanics to try to whip out a grinder or something from inside and try to cut it off real quick. It might, if the threat happens.
I'll wait till you after your roll.
Okay.
Disable the weapon.
So yours is going to be the backup in case his slice fails. As you like nonchalantly have the life saving tool, looking like I'm keeping the camera to my back.
Oh, look like I'm just inspecting the outside of the ship, is that?
Make sure it's got no damage.
Yep.
Okay, so give me your astrogation roll.
Okay, against.
It's going to be against 2 purple. Where are you looking to go?
Well, I assume we have.
Are you leaving the planet?
Well, yeah, we'll be
Okay.
leaving the planet, but we'll be returning to a pre-designated safe zone,
Wherever
but
our-
not directly.
Okay,
When,
so beta site.
Yeah, and so
Okay.
I want to create a
On
trail.
the plus side, you do have the most updated star charts from the Imperial abilities, because of course when your ship landed, they patched the system. So they updated all your star charts, so it's only 2 purple.
Okay.
See someone outside you
Okay,
increases the woohoo.
so, oh, fuck me. Okay, well, I got no successes, but I got 5 advantages.
What could possibly go wrong?
So what would you like to use your 5 advantages for? That the course you're going to take, 3 of them will be nobody can follow your course.
Yeah, it's
because
like,
you're going
I'm
so many
making
crazy
compound.
places. You don't even
That's
know where
right.
you're going to end
That's
up.
why she didn't succeed, because she lost herself in
So,
space.
Yeah, I lost.
so for the last 2 advantage, would you like to do it like half the time type of thing?
Actually, yeah.
Because you're really just hitting the random number generator.
Yeah, huh?
Okay.
This way, I don't even know where we're going.
That's
it's so
offset.
secure.
It's so secure, not even the people in the know are in the know. Okay, so you've got the course plotted. You just need to get out of the atmosphere, and you can slide that dial, and hyperspace, here you come. Okay, so our diplomat's been yelling. Droid goes walking by as you stopped yelling, and the droid came walking by. Goodbye, Mr. Robot. Okay, our soldiers got the landing gear all checked. I'm assuming that our slicer wants to go next. Okay.
Versus.
It's going to be 3 purple. But we're going to turn that.
We're
No.
gonna. No!
Yay!
I've been saving it!
Yeah, I know!
I've been waiting!
So it's going to be a red and 2 purple and a black die. But we're going to ignore that black die because you ignore black dice. And I will give you a blue because when you hacked into the system earlier, you left yourself a nice little back door in the system.
Okay. Plus, I've got the advantages from last turn. I thought.
Well, we gave blacks.
Oh, that was the blue.
Yeah, well, no, that was the blacks that you gave, or. Oh, no, you're right, you have 2 blue.
from his roll.
Yeah, you have 2 blue.
Here.
We have a blue palooza.
2?
Yeah.
Ah.
As all of a sudden, so the droid stomps on a container up there, just leaves a footprint through it. Ah, I'm so despair. Okay, so
What is that?
this takes out this. I always like to go for those naturally
The green
quick.
and the red take each other out.
This will take out this plus this, and that takes out that. You have 2 successes. All of that and 2 successes, what you left at.
Sweet.
So immediately you plug into it and you have control of the lockout.
Okay.
So you're basically
Undo the lockout.
undoing the lockout. Now you do know when you do that, it is going to register that you just disabled the lockout, right? You're okay with
Yeah,
that?
but it also has the lieutenant's signature
See, if
on
you
it.
had some advantages, I'd say you do it without anyone noticing it. But you immediately look. You shoot him that look because he's underneath the shuttle, you know, with the landing gear, and you give him that look like, "You ready?" And you go, beep, beep, and the landing gear lights turn green. You realize that the boot retracts.
Oh. Okay, fine.
Do you basically signal them?
Oh.
Yes, run.
So you're basically, would you like to take 2 strain to get on the ship? Double
Yes.
maneuver to get all the way on the ship?
Yes.
Okay, and is it
Yes,
incidental you're telling everybody, go?
Go, 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 go,
I'm
go.
assuming you would like to go next to get on the boat? Okay, so you immediately get on the boat, you're like, bastards, throw the tools aside of the landing
Take
craft.
off.
Okay, so who's going next?
Him to get
Also
on the
getting
boat.
on the boat.
Well, you were on the boat. Oh, no, you weren't.
He was with me.
So you basically double move, you're panting heavily, because you gotta be low on strain at this point.
I'm not doing great, but I'm also not terrible. I'm better than half.
Oh, okay, that's
Yeah.
not bad. So you are on the shuttle, you know, your BOTHAN ARKHAN is already strapped in, he's pulled the belts tight, he's got a stim gun shooting stim 3 times into his system right now going, thank God, I know it's only healing 1 more point. I've been worked
Jump
over.
into the co-pilot seat.
Okay. So you're running to get to the co-pilot seat?
Is there a gun emplacement on the ship
There is.
that he might want to sit on?
Okay. So you're basically in charge of the 2 little guns on it. You're like, the ship needs more guns. It needs a rear gunner seat at least. As our pilot is ready to take off.
I'm ready to make my planetary piloting.
Okay.
What do I?
Now, for your piloting, what kind of piloting are you wanting to do right now?
Well, it's planetary because we're still on the planet.
No, no.
But are you looking to do any fancy maneuvers or just a standard maneuver?
I would like to do a standard maneuver right now just because it's less conspicuous.
Okay, so you're gonna fly casual, so to speak?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what would that be?
So that's just a straight on for your maneuver. It's gonna be straight piloting at 2 purple.
Okay.
I've got 1 yellow and 2 green. Can I assist?
For piloting planetary?
Yeah.
I think she's better than
I
you,
am
but you can
way-
add a blue dice, so you plop it onto the seat and grab it. And you know what? Just as you're about to take off, because you haven't reached for one yet, all of a sudden you notice the turrets kind of cycle to the motion of your ship as you're starting to rock up in the air. And it's just gonna unnerve you for a second, seeing these turbo lasers, one pointing at your face, and you know the other one's pointing at the back of your skull right now.
Okay.
But that's okay, because you're a cool cucumber.
Nice.
Okay, so
Nice.
yeah, no, all the threat goes away. This goes away, and so basically, I'm just left with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 successes.
Just 5 successes. As you're just like, and you're pulling up, the wings are unfurling, you're getting ready to take off, and you're just flying casual. And immediately, the second you do, your comms are squawking to life. Lambda shuttle, Vision 4544, what are you doing?
We're leaving.
I'll get on the.
Your ship is currently on lockdown. We are expecting the shuttle to come pick up the prisoner. You are not cleared for takeoff.
We are making space for the shuttle to come pick up the prisoner.
Okay, so immediately you're clicking
Yes.
the comm where
That
you're
is
sitting.
obvious, like,
You're
where are you gonna park?
I got this. In theory, according to the description, there's enough for 2 shuttles on there, even though I don't see where it's gonna happen.
Yeah,
But
but for security purposes, we've been instructed to vacate the shuttle area.
okay,
I mean,
so,
we got clearance. Obviously, we're taking off.
so you
Lieutenant,
obviously.
unlock our ship, damn it!
So go ahead and give me a charm, coercion, or deception. Which way are
I
you
am
going
going to
with
try
this?
to charm them.
You're going
into
charm?
This one.
Because all of a sudden that voice that came over the radio was really, really sexy.
Yeah.
And you're just like, time,
Like,
kick it up a notch. There's a bottle of Corellian whiskey for you next time we see each other in the rec room.
In the rec room.
In the rec room.
What's the difficulty?
Difficulty is going to be 2 red.
Red, then.
no!
Oh.
Upgrade!
Okay.
Wrong one, sorry.
It's still 2 red.
It's still 2 red, but I have another
But
yellow.
we have another yellow.
But the odds are in your favor. Not
Oh,
the narrative
God.
dice believe in odds.
Yay, despair!
See, now for the record, Duncan, Eric says that every time this year comes up in every game because he likes narrative
You're
dice.
so much better than that. To be fair, I succeeded.
So you succeeded with how much advantage?
4.
Quite a bit, actually.
Yeah, 2 success, 4 advantage, and a despair.
Okay. So what would you like to do for your 4 advantage? Give my teammate a free
Well-
maneuver to get us further in the air.
Can I find out what the despair is first? Because I might want to use them to react to the despair.
I will give you that. That's completely fair. So immediately you guys are starting to take off. You're looking up. Beautiful blue sky. Hint of clouds. All of a sudden, the sun gets blotted out. As you're realizing, Strike Fast just hyperspaced into high orbit.
Oh, fudge.
And it's right above you. as the ace pilot's going, oh, shit.
Okay.
So what would you like to use your advantage for?
I would like to use my advantage for 2 things.
Okay.
I'm going to, since I was charming with the air traffic controller, I'm going to keep their attention so that they don't talk to the ship for a little while. Just kind
Okay.
of flirting, be like, oh, hee hee, you're so nice.
Are you kidding? this intrusion specialist is gonna be like, hey, check the voice on this one.
Yeah, kind of, and just making sure that they don't communicate.
Okay.
And I want to.
So that would be 3 advantage for that.
That's
I would
fine.
gladly. He's like, hey, and everybody's immediately like, you know how when you're in the office and one person talks like that, and everybody's like meerkatting, what's going on over there? How do I get into that call?
And for another advantage, in the course of the call, whatever banter, maybe he says like, oh, the ship coming in is going to need this, that, or the other thing. She's going to glean enough technical specifications from the talk to get an advantage on her.
Okay.
So she'll, she'll know the type of ship. She'll know like a blind spot, something that gives her an advantage.
Okay. The approach vector.
Yeah.
So what are you two doing while all this is going on?
I'm going to be helping her on her co-pilot.
Okay, you're looking up and you see the Star Destroyer right there. Oh boy!
I'm gonna go use the John.
I was so glad that the Despair probably came up. So what you doing on the guns there when you're realizing we can take them? We can take them. Just stay on target. We can take them. This is for ALDERAAN. Okay, so back to the pilot's turn.
Okay, so basically, I'm going to do a piloting, against, and 3 purple, I guess that is for, I'm gonna do.
Oh, full throttle.
No,
yes.
I'm doing supreme full throttle.
Did you get that far down the line?
I don't know, it's,
What's it say?
which is the one that's
No, you have to
selected?
check the second
Check to
page.
see where your check marks are.
There are no check marks.
Check mark right there.
Oh.
Oh,
Agility 5 is expensive.
Yeah, it is.
I'm like, I don't
I
think
said
we
because
have improved.
all of these were, I'm like, okay, all of these are grayed out, so I must have.
No,
these.
I think
Okay.
one's like active and
It's
one's
passive.
Oh, okay, let's see.
You scared me there for a second. I'm like,
No. Okay, so basically, I am just going to.
No.
you have skill jockey. Which
Their
one?
ship probably
Yeah, I
doesn't
already
have
removed.
shields around their bridge.
Yeah.
And the
I'm
soldiers
not
say,
done.
yeah.
What a great idea!
You know what? We might not even have torpedoes, but we have a ship.
Okay. I am.
A ship
How
is just
about
a torpedo with
I
bodies
just
on it.
freaking
Hey,
make
well,
extra
well,
maneuvers and
Once you go to hyperspace, it doesn't matter. Well, what size
We
you are.
probably shouldn't go hyperspace
First,
in
I have to get off
atmosphere.
the planet.
I'm
No, you
going
don't.
through the physics on how far you need to get out into atmosphere before you can really hit the button.
Yeah. So I'm going to. Can I do an extra?
Extra
Punch
strong
it?
think.
I'm punching it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Full-
to gain distance, let's just stay in atmosphere and basically go, or basically travel planet side versus
I can
go
do
out to
that.
space where they are. So then it'd take them longer to keep up with us.
Well, yeah, they're a huge ship.
Yeah.
Just since they're in either in atmosphere or in orbit, go contra their orbit, right, to get the planet in between us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna.
Okay, now you gonna do it subtly, or are you just gonna say screw it and run?
I'm gonna say screw it and run.
Okay, so you're going for the punch it.
Mm-hmm.
So you basically wanted to go from 1 to max speed
Yeah.
as quickly as possible, so it's gonna be 3 purple.
Okay.
Okay, now you're gonna want to do anything fancy like skim treetops, which by the way, you had the ability to take out that black dice that you would get for doing that.
Yeah.
Okay, so go ahead and you're gonna skim the treetops so the base won't get you on radar.
And you get an extra blue from me.
And
Already
he's
got
giving you a
that.
blue for his co-piloting. So you're basically
And
gonna
And I have the
you're
ones that
gonna
have the
run atmospherically away from the Star Destroyer.
And I think
Oh.
we
Yeah,
want
it's a good.
It's a
yeah.
good action economy right now.
Yes. Go. Da, 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 da.
Okay.
Oh boy! Oh boy!
Oh.
So we're good.
No, we're not good. We're not good.
It's not bad.
No, it's bad. It's bad.
It's so good.
Dude, that's a whole lot of advantage.
Okay. So I've got no successes, but I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7.
So you have 0 successes.
Yep.
As you're like, all casual fly Miss Daisy to and no successes. What would you like to do with your 7 advantages?
I want to turn those into a success. That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
I am going to give myself 2 blue dice for the next.
That's a good one.
2 additional blue dice to my next piloting. And I'm
May I
going to
offer a
give
suggestion for 3 of them?
Yes.
Perhaps jettisoning you and your compatriots as you smear that craft over 4 miles? I'm sure that they would have an ejection system.
No.
We're stuck on
We
planet.
object to that objection.
Well, she failed her piloting
Yeah,
role.
she actually failed
Yeah.
the pilot.
Yeah.
I'm crashing into trees.
The tree won't break the ship.
No, it won't. I'll break the tree. But
Well,
It-
she
it-
did
it just means your ship will take some damage.
Fail?
Or
No,
strange.
she failed.
Well, if you have no successes, it's a failure.
Yep.
She basically hit the gas full blast and fishtailed into a wall. In this case, it's a redwood tree.
I'm hoping that the vehicle, you know what, I'm going to take the dash to make sure that the vehicle is still pilotable.
I will gladly take 3 for that.
We
So
may have crashed, or
Okay.
like run into some trees, but it's still
immediately,
flight worthy.
she hits the gas full blast. You're thinking,
The engines
brace for it! And as soon as you do,
It just looks like it's been through hell.
you shear for about a quarter mile every treetop possible, to the point of you guys feel like you've been in a stick shift that's going and there's this explosion of foliage around you guys as you realize you've just sheared the jungle.
Yeah. Might as
As,
well just put an arrows to where we are.
as even the gun placements can't get you on camera right now. You've disappeared from the skyline.
But my
Yeah,
next,
because we're underground.
but my next roll will give me
Ah.
4 blue.
Okay. So, anybody so you're gonna help co-pilot this?
Actually, no. You said that there
Or-
was an injection system?
There is an injection system.
Is
It's an
there
all or nothing
something?
kind of thing, though. You probably think it's a bad idea with all those speeder bikes they probably have on the base.
No. What I'm thinking of is there something that we can get rid of on this ship to make them think that we exploded when we didn't?
I don't
Not
think so.
enough material to make them think you've completely crashed. But
Just to
your
throw them
vehicles,
off, just to throw them off the trail for a little bit.
you really don't want to take the time to like take seats out.
Yeah, no, okay.
But you realize there is a massive amount of your ship on the ground around where your ship
We're
is.
still pilotable.
It's still
It's
flyable.
still flying, right? Okay.
It's got like 3 hull trauma left, but it's still flyable. So you can co-pilot. You can also plot the trajectory, which is an average computer roll to downgrade her piloting roll, which you might want to do since
Well,
she's
that would
now
be
going to be
helpful.
at 4 purple to start the engine and get flying after pulling a tree out of part of the wing. So you give a computer roll against 2 purple. Basically, what it is you're whipping up, you're letting go of the stick, you're getting your computer, and you're doing a heads-up display of how she should fly out of the trees.
Okay.
What's the difficulty for the manual repair of the ship?
For the mechanics or the
The
athletics
athletics
one?
one.
The athletics one, it's only 2 purple. Are you gonna like
I've
physically
got-
pull a tree out of
Which
the...
would be better because they have mechanics as well.
I would say downgrading her piloting roll is the biggest bang for the buck as you pull the HUD, as this guy is literally shoving a piece of tree out of the ship and foam sealing the hole.
You said versus 2 purple.
2 purple. And basically you just need 1 success. Advantages are gravy.
Sweet. Oh, wait a minute.
It's a complete wash.
Okay. We're gonna roll that.
Is there?
Ow.
Because once
Can you
per
do
game,
that?
I don't have
Because
a core
once
book.
per
Do you have
game-
a core book?
I do. Yep, go ahead and tell them what you got.
because once per game I have
Oh, we gotta get you a new core book.
That's the first core book.
natural programmer.
Uh-huh.
Once per session may reroll any one computer or astrogation check.
Yes, so it's
I've
perfect
been
time for you to
saving
use that.
that.
Thank
I've been
goodness!
thinking, do I want to use it on those? And I went, no, there might be something more
So
important
immediately you
coming.
hit delete that program for the trajectory, and you retype in your coordinates really quick. And you're like, I'm better than that. Oh,
But I'm not.
but the problem is your coordinates keep saying there's a tree right in front of you, which there is. Unfortunately, you're plotting. It's not that you're not plotting it well. It's just that physically where you are is a horrible position, as you're literally swaying on
Okay.
a tree.
Since I'm able to do it faster than normal people, do I get a blue because I get more time?
No.
Okay.
1 success and 5 advantages.
Oh,
So-
damn. So what are you using your advantages for?
To after pushing the tree out to then find other loose components to then kind of seal the hole
Shove it
to make
in.
to make the ship as space worthy as possible.
Well, it is space worthy.
No, you said it's flight worthy.
Wah, wah.
It's just funny that way. Okay, so you basically are shoving bits of extra tree in the hole and some tree branches.
I'm not an engineer. This will work.
What is our diplomat doing at this point when your boss is just like, you can tell he passed out from his lack of stress.
I have a terrible idea.
All the best ideas start with that.
So, base air traffic control is busy with me,
They're still talking to
Yeah,
you this
yeah.
whole time.
and we've got 2 lines. So, what if I tell? No, here's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to ask any questions.
You're just gonna do it.
I'm gonna ring up the
First strike.
first strike, and I'm gonna tell them
Strike first.
rebels have attacked the base. They've hit us during while we were attempting prisoner transport, and we need to land on your ship ASAP.
What?
Give me a deception roll.
What?
It's against 2 red. You know what? 2 red and a purple.
What could possibly go wrong?
Well, once we get the atmosphere, we don't have to land on their ship.
No, yeah, we just need to let them not shoot at us.
Okay.
Or maybe we'll land on their ship. I've always wanted a big ship.
Knowledge rules aren't that correct?
Yes,
Dude,
You are
Yeah.
crazy.
Okay.
What's the other choice?
as you pop that off and both of them are looking at you like, what did you just say?
Oh, mercy. No, just a threat.
Just a threat?
Yeah.
They're like, yeah.
So the threat is the bead of sweat coming down as you're looking at them as you're saying it, trying to say it in a straight face. And they don't seem, and they're like, what is your authorization code?
7.
42. It's the answer to everything.
Okay, so go ahead and give me your piloting roll. You need a purple?
Yeah, you said it was against 4 purple.
Yep. As your co-pilot's like throwing in coordinates, it's going every coordinates he's trying is ending you up in a tree, and you're just like, don't tell me the odds. I'm just gonna fly by wire.
Oh.
Fuck me. This sucks.
Ooh.
Okay. So, oh man, we're gonna die.
No, I think you succeeded.
No, I didn't. Oh wait a minute. Yes,
I know there's no numbers on the dice, but math is power.
Okay. Well, then this becomes.
Yeah,
a
well,
one.
it's not a triumph.
Now this becomes just where's 1? Okay, there we go.
It's the
That
hardest
becomes
number.
that. And okay, so I actually got a success and 3 advantage.
Okay, so immediately you guys are hearing these engines scream as it's pulling a tree branch out of one of the wings.
The
And you're
screaming is
hearing
coming
this
from the
horrible
U-box.
vibration as you guys are flying, and she's continuing to gun it. And you guys come around this mountain crest where you start to head straight to the blue, which then starts to become the black. And you get a ping on your radar that there are TIE fighters following you. Basically,
Okay.
a detachment of TIE fighters to find
So
out
we
what
are
the hell is
now-
going on here.
Into I have space.
Uh-huh. So, did you want to try plotting a course again for her, or co-piloting? Plotting the course is always more bang for your buck,
Okay.
because it'll turn her, depending on what she does piloting-wise, it'll reduce the purples that she rolls.
Okay.
Or undoes any dark side
And
things.
you've already done the astrogation, right?
She's already got the course.
Yeah. And
So,
I'm
yes.
giving myself a blue for advantage for the.
Okay.
So
For
the
all
now
my-
piloting space
Piloting
Yes.
is space, yep.
against.
It's going to be, now, what, are you assisting her? You're plotting a course? If you plot a course, it's going to be piloting against 2 purple.
No, you're not.
Or you,
He's just lowering my.
so co-piloting, so they'll give her a blue dice.
Yeah.
So there's
I've got
different
a yellow
options
and
you can
green.
do.
Which option's better?
None of them are going to help her. She has much higher agility and the same training.
He's just giving me.
Okay,
he's
so
just
you-
giving me
so just
a
give
blue
him
die.
So you got your hands on the stick following her lead, okay? So what is it you're gonna do? Try to punch down race these guys?
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
Okay.
You can't
So-
take a whole. You can't take a
You
shot.
can't take one shot. So it's gonna be against 3 purple. Yes, you're like going to freaking
You know what?
outrace
Screw
this
it.
guy. Okay. You want to get those 3 advantages to make sure you guys get further along, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
That's because if you get 3 advantages on top of a success, you can then hit your engines and go.
Triumph!
Or you could just roll a
And
triumph.
all of the successes.
Okay, so those counteract those. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 successes, a triumph, and an advantage.
Okay, so needless to say, let's not worry about those 3 advantages as she hits the engine and you're hearing the ship screaming in pain. And as soon as you crest out of the atmosphere, the screaming sound turns into a nice, subtle, rushing noise of just space travel. Oh, thank God there's no more wind resistance to the 2 bushes hanging out your tail fin. As you guys head to the black, and she immediately is just like, screw this place, bit to the hyperspace, and you rip out of the solar system. Where you end up, you have no clue as you pop out
We're
of
just
Coruscant.
away from here.
You pop out of Coruscant,
Time
you
I got
pop
a
out of
triumph.
Hoth, you pop out of Kashyyyk,
What could possibly go wrong?
Exactly, right?
and that's when you get the bum bum ba da 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 da, and the
Bothan lived!
and the whole time he's been out cold with a little scratch from a tree branch that came through.
And the interrogation droid.
Yeah, it's like brrr. Life signs getting weak. Healed.
Stim pack.
And that is a good place to wrap it up.
Yay, we succeeded.
And you actually
Everybody
did it with only going over 5 minutes. So you actually technically did it. I was either going to kill you all or save you all on your roll. Okay, so you freed him. You got the
So it was a
set, the
really
rubber
good time
cells.
for the triumph.
Yes, it was. You get him back to Rebel High Command.
Double check the Bothan to make sure he didn't watch us on us.
He didn't what?
Bosh. You know.
Oh,
tree.
yeah.
ship.
He's just out cold because he only had like 2 strain to start with, and then during the accident, he's like, good night. Because, stim packs don't help with strain.
He's having a rough couple days there.
And then the fact that he's being babysitted by the interrogation droid, he's like, am I still in my cell?
But
Did I
believe it or not,
hallucinate?"
the interrogation droid is actually very good at not letting you die.
Yeah.
That's kind of why they were getting the interrogation droid, because the guys beating him up weren't as effective as an interrogation droid in keeping the prisoner alive. Because all of a sudden they were told, don't let the prisoner die. So you have all saved him.
Yay.
And we didn't just totally murder Hobo, everybody.
You didn't. There was a lot of strategy.
We were
that
actually really bad at murdering people, which is, I think, why we shifted focus.
Sometimes you really do just have to do that of, you know what, we're just going to roll with being really good at what we're good at.
1, 2, 3 Imperial guards?
And the lieutenant.
No, we had the lieutenant and 2 of the guards.
Oh yeah, one of the
One
guys
of
was
them
knocked
lived.
out.
One of them.
Tompkins.
Tompkins will go, them
But-
damn Rebs, man. them
But 2
damn
officers
Rebs."
died.
Yeah.
2 officers and 2 soldiers.
Who was the second officer?
The one that came down with the.
The one that, well, he was technically knocked out too. Remember, you knocked out the first one that came with you, that brought you here.
I thought we killed him.
No,
Oh
they
no,
shot
you
him.
did
I did.
shoot.
I did
You
shoot.
did
So,
shoot
yes.
the helpless officer.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yes, he does count as a kill.
Alright.
So 4 people killed. 3 deaths on there. Almost killed the ship.
We
Succeeded in the mission.
got new Imperial star charts, so now we know where we
You also have all the lieutenant's codes.
We have lieutenant's codes.
Yep. Quite quickly, they'll be saying, Lieutenant Dan, why did you let them go? And then they're like, anybody seen Lieutenant Dan? Someone check the. Then they open that elevator to the turbo lift, and they're like, what happened in this elevator? I don't know, but someone crawled up the hatch. The rebels are in the elevator shafts.
They're in the vents.
Oh, the humanity. So did you guys have fun?
Yes.
Especially as a one-shot?
Yeah.
Since we didn't do our normal, ether bomb that's being dragged off quintessence.
Are you generally available on Fridays?
It depends.
We do have an opening in our.
Now he's
Friday
going to
night.
try to seduce you into our game.
Genesis.
Genesis game. Would you hand me some more of that? Is it open? It's a red.
Sorry, that
It's
probably
okay.
isn't appropriate.
For what?
That probably isn't appropriate.
Sure it is.
So most of my family go out at the end of the week and
Would you hand me some dice? Get some dice. And literally that chime you hear on that phone is the chime that you're hearing when Rebel Command says, Did you get him from the Imperials?
Dan Skippy.
And then all of a sudden the Bothan turns his gun and kills you all and says, I was really a double sleeper agent.
Oh, there's another one.
That's what happens when you M. Night Shyamalan Star Wars. What a twist! And that is a good place to wrap it there. And again, we will brag, by the way, on the dice trays that Kelly made. Because they are
You can
awesome.
tell which one was my first one. This one was
No,
my
I
first.
can't. Not at all. Can't tell it all. Hold them up for the camera if you're still on.
Yes!
Hold them up for the camera if you're still
Uh-huh. Lovely.
And they're padded. So
Yes,
the
they
metal
are padded.
dice, unlike most of them aren't padded, but this way metal dice aren't quite as.
It's noisy.
Or it's hard on the table.
Which I completely approve of.